Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the NXT review for um, the 4th of May, 2021. Not a bad show, not a great show. Certainly, the show has kind of fallen somewhat flat since losing the NXT AEW war aspect of it. Anyway, Isaiah Swerve Scott defeats Leon Ruff in a Falls Count Anywhere match that doesn't need to happen because this feud's gone on too long. Scott pins Ruff after interference by AJ Francis, who makes a debut during the finish. This appears to be a blow off to the feud. Finish was not specifically clean. Ruff charges towards Scott at the bell, and Ruff gets nailed with a knee strike. He fights back. Scott drops him again. Ruff counters Scott and sets up a tope. Scott catches Ruff on an attempted dive. Scott sends Ruff crashing to the apron with a Death Valley driver. Scott then whips Ruff into the barricade and slams him. Ruff gets nailed into the middle entrance ramp and a near fall. Suplex follows by Scott, and Ruff sells big before a near fall. Scott looks to be in control. Ruff rolls to the outside. Ruff eventually hits the Tree of Woe and takes a drop kick. Ruff tries to make a comeback, but Scott drops him in from midair. They brawl on the floor. Scott goes towards the toolbox and throws it. Ruff dodges the toolbox before the show goes to picture in picture, which is dumb and dumb. Anyway, during the break, fighting goes back into the locker room area. They fight around on the stage and return from commercial break. Scott's blinded by a spotlight and then goes for flying off the stage. They fight back into the ring. Scott goes for another superplex. Ruff counters that into a crucifix bomb. Scott manages to kick out of that for a near fall. Ruff moments later hits a crazy poison rana onto the apron, and Scott hits a flip bump onto the floor unnecessarily in a match that honestly in 2 weeks won't matter. Scott morphs into a Michinoku driver with Ruff on the floor. Ruff manages to kick out, and Ruff moves with Scott charging at him, crashes into a knee into the ring steps. Ruff takes out toolbox and then uses the toolbox as a weapon. Big surprise there. Hits Scott in the knee with it. Ruff then exchanges frog splashes for a near fall. Ruff then applies a heel hook. Scott is able to escape. Ruff then delivers a series of cutters. Remember when the diamond cutter was a finish? Anyway, Scott rolls the outside, takes the other cutter on the floor. Ruff climbs the ladder behind some equipment and then leaps off the ladder onto Scott. Football player turned wrestler AJ Francis steps in to interfere. I don't even know who he is, but then again, I don't follow football. Francis catches Ruff in a high cross, and Francis gives Ruff a Uranagi and then nails him into the barricade. Scott follows up with a signature package piledriver and gets the win. NXT North American Champion Johnny Gargano with Austin Theory come into Regal's office. Regal's meeting with Scarlett, and Regal tells Gargano he would meet with him later. Anyway, Cameron Grimes defeats Asher Hale. Grimes pins Hale in a short, more competitive than it needs to be match, and Grimes wins relatively convincingly, but his opponent gets offense. Hale hits a missile dropkick for near fall. Grimes answers back with some counters. Grimes then delivers the cave-in, and Grimes gets the pinfall. Kaden Carter and Casey Catanzaro are interviewed backstage. They're interrupted by Frankie Monet, who's carrying her dog, the Pomeranian. Monet is insulting to them, and she's pretending to cheer for them, but not really. Cameron Grimes celebrating and met by the tag team of Everrise. Grimes wanted them to celebrate, but tells them the other two there's only room for three. And then those three were me, myself, and Cameron Grimes. Grimes says he was headed to the VIP room. Exactly what that is, no one knows. Anyway, Tim Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa defeat the Grizzly Young veterans James Drake and Zach Gibson. Interesting that the two main national programs both have a guy by the name of James Drake on their roster. Anyway, Thatcher submits Gibson to win the match. Thatcher hits Gibson with a shoe in the process. Better match, probably best match of the night thus far. Grizzly Young veterans before the match cut a promo on their opponents, and then the entrance of Thatcher and Ciampa interrupts them. Thatcher and Ciampa were in control. Show went to commercial, comes back. Thatcher gets worked over by the heels. Hot tag to Ciampa. Ciampa comes in and goes nuts. Thatcher's left alone with the heels, and Ciampa takes a bump into the announce desk. And after that goes flying into the ropes, Ciampa is over the desk. Thatcher is being double teamed. Ciampa then makes a save. Ciampa also had a shoe that belonged to Wade Barrett, which he, I guess, stole while Barrett was doing commentary. Ciampa tosses the shoe in the ring. Thatcher then walks and nails Gibson with the shoe, and Thatcher follows up, applying an armbar. Gibson taps out. Johnny Gargano's backstage, and he's bothering Regal again. Regal is having none of it, and they do more goofy, useless comedy. Isaiah Swerve Scott leaves the building with his new stable, and then we go to the next segment. NXT champion Karrion Kross and Scarlett entered. They go in for the promo. He challenges Austin Theory to a match next week. Kross promo interrupted by Kyle O'Reilly, who's still doing the cool Kyle deal. Then O'Reilly confronts Kross, and O'Reilly is about to challenge Kross when they're interrupted by Pete Dunne. Dunne cuts a promo on both O'Reilly and Kross. Dunne claimed that he's the baddest man in NXT, and he dared them to prove him wrong. Finn Balor enters the scene. Balor storms to the ring and goes after Kross. Brawl between them erupts, and all four end up brawling. Kross is left standing in the ring. Security pours out. Security guy takes a suplex from Kross, and Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory jump in with a sneak attack. Gargano and Theory jump Kross, but then fight off, and Kross is outnumbered yet again, and then the numbers soon catch up with him. Gargano and Theory hit super kicks on Kross, and then they lay him out. Heels leave him laying in ring. Kross meets Theory in singles match next week. The Way find their way out of the scene and jump into the waiting car. And then Seve defeats Zelda Rainier. Not exactly worth a heck of a lot of beans here, honestly. Basic match. She pins Rainier in a short but competitive match. Fights from underneath, drops Rainier on her head with a suplex, and then gets pinfall. Walter via Zoom says that Imperium needs a pep talk, and so he gives one. And then we go to teaser hyping the Diamond Mine. Zoe Stark is having Stare down with Tony Storm backstage. Stark wins the stare down because I guess the other girl blinks first. Anyway, LA Knight defeats Jake Atlas. Knight pins Atlas in what is a show off match for him. Atlas does have a lot more talent than he's given. Worth cutting him if you're not going to use him well. Then there's LA Knight, who they're still trying to find something for, and they brought him in too early. He cuts a promo on his way to the ring. Atlas rallies after being punished early. Knight then cuts him off. Atlas gets a few counters, but Knight then strikes with a headlock, and Knight covers Atlas for the pinfall. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell goes to the locker room preparing for the title change. Later, Dexter Lumis approached a window holding flowers. Hartwell did not see him. LeRae sees him. She closed the blinds, keeping Hartwell from seeing him, because I guess she doesn't want distractions. Tori Storm cuts a heel promo on Zoe Stark. Storm says that she brought Stark into the business to take her out. Basic promo. Legado del Fantasma is in the ring for a promo. Raul Mendoza, Joaquin Wilde go for their title match against the NXT Tag Team Champions, MSK. And this feels flat. Cruiserweight Champion Kushida appeared on video screen to challenge Santos Escobar to a title match. So many segments that are non-sequential here. NXT Women's Champion Raquel Gonzalez and Mercedes Martinez are on a split screen ahead of their title match. Frankie Monet's dog, Presley the Pomeranian, pops in. Shotzi Blackheart is unhappy to remove the dog's, present from her tank. Cameron Grimes arrives at a nightclub, but a tall bouncer wouldn't let Grimes into the club. Grimes insisted he's headed to the VIP room. Bouncer said club is booked for the night and a private party. Grimes continues to pester the bouncer. There's a limousine that arrives at the club. Limo is adorned with golden dollar signs on the hood. And Ted DiBiase, $1 Million Man, steps out and remarked not to rent a booth when you can buy the whole club. DiBiase concludes saying that everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man. Grimes is angry, and then Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell defeat the Women's Tag Team Champions Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart to win the championships. Cool that the women's tag match closes the show. Not necessarily sure that LeRae and Hartwell need to be the tag champions right now with what's going on. LeRae does pin Blackheart to win the tag team championships for the ladies. Lots of crazy bumps in the match, and they beat the heck out of each other in a match that honestly should have been saved for maybe SummerSlam or something that actually mattered. Anyway, during the entrance, champs are cosplaying as Freddy Krueger and Jason from Friday the 13th. Match begins. There's brawling and weapons and all that. Tables, chairs, and trash cans. Oh my. They are all around ringside. Champs begin double teaming on Hartwell. LeRae eventually makes a save for her team. Hits a baseball slide, but is sandwiched between two trash cans in the process. Hartwell makes a save, cleans house. Hartwell then hits 4 chairs at ringside, which they're all used on her eventually. Moon then smashes Hartwell into the chairs. Blackwell adds another chair, placing it on top of the others. Heels send Blackheart into the chairs, and then the champs go for a dive. LeRae saves Hartwell using a fire extinguisher. We go to picture-in-picture. Hartwell sets up a ladder bridge at ringside. LeRae props up a table in the corner. LeRae wriggles a chair between the top and middle rope, but she eats the chair almost as soon as the show returns. Blackheart jumps off the top rope, delivers a senton with LeRae on the ladder, and they crash to the floor. Moon gives Hartwell an Alabama slam into the table, propped in the corner. Table barely breaks, and Hartwell takes a hard bump into the table. Moments later, Hartwell has enough and kicks the ladder into Moon and Blackheart. The ladder is propped up on the ropes, and Blackheart is placed on it. LeRae then does a moonsault, Kurbada into the ladder, and Moon hits a spine buster on the ladder. Ouch. Blackheart and Hartwell are brawling near the announce desk. Blackheart breaks a coffee mug on Hartwell, and then Blackheart climbs the truss that's part of the set, leaps off with a splash, puts Hartwell through the announcer's table. Hartwell, or puts Moon through a table. Meanwhile, LeRae gives Blackheart the Wicked Stepsister on a chair. LeRae then pins Blackheart, winning the titles. Decent match. I wish they'd saved it for a segment that people would remember. Also, wish they had built it a little bit longer. But, hey, this is 2021 and attention spans are shorter than people's noses. Anyway, so hopefully this is helpful and you enjoyed things. In any event, till next time, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Till next time, everybody.